Hey there guys, today we're taking a look at Forspoken, the demo running on the AMD Ryzen 5 5500. You can see here that I'm running this at 634p with the lowest in-game graphics settings and FSR set to ultra performance. So we are running this at a quality setting that I would pretty much just recommend you don't even bother to play the game at. This is really just for testing purposes, just to see how it runs here. And I gotta say, it's pretty brutal. You're seeing it right now at the stock 15 watt TDP. And even though visually it is a complete mess, the level of performance that we're getting out of this is abysmal. Absolutely unplayable like this at the stock 15 watt TDP, with 1% lows in the single digits and our averages struggling to even make it past the teens. It's pretty much an unplayable mess, and it does not improve at all at any point past this. Before I actually even started playing around, I just stood there in the beginning section for about 15 minutes just to let whatever shaders needed to be loaded in, because this is DirectX 12. It does need to compile shaders, and some DirectX 12 games tell you that they're compiling shaders. I didn't see any indication of that here, but I am also at a resolution so low that I would not even notice an indicator like that. So I left it alone for a while, and just in general, the stock 15 watt TDP was abysmal. So since we're already at a visual quality that was completely unrealistic when it comes to actually trying to play this, I decided to just raise the TDP to the maximum that I could go to, just to see what is the best possible outcome we could bring out of this game. And going with the 30 watt TDP, we do actually see slight improvements in the overall experience, though it's nothing dramatic. Our averages now are getting close to a 30 FPS average, but the 1% lows struggle to make it past the teens. So while it is a more playable experience than where we were at before, it's not going to be great. And as we go more and more into the more open world, those 1% lows start to really fall apart. So in general, this is not going to be a great experience on here in the slightest, especially because there's going to be very frequent stutters as you go around playing through all this. Pretty much anytime I would pan towards anything around me, it would just start to stutter like crazy and then recover, only to then stutter a little bit later on. It almost felt like shader compilation, but it's weird because I just stood around waiting for shaders to compile for a good while. So I'm not 100% sure what exactly was going on there, but it was a very consistent stutter that ended up dragging down an already pretty bad experience. Even if those stutters weren't happening though, and we were keeping a consistent 25 FPS average, we had to sacrifice so much visually that it's just no reason to actually play this game like this. Now, call me crazy, but I don't think spending $70 for a game to then end up playing it with this kind of visual quality is gonna be worthwhile for pretty much anyone out there. I mean, at $70, that's already a good chunk of the way towards getting a system that could probably actually play this. Interestingly enough, I was reading about how the game itself actually has problems with GCN based GPUs in general. It seems like the Polaris cards were just having trouble playing the game, or they would just have crashes and things like that. Now the iGPU in this is also based on GCN, since, you know, at this point AMD hadn't transitioned to RDNA 2 yet. So in general, I don't necessarily know if there will ever be a fix at this point to get this game to play better on here. I mean, the combat was interesting enough from the little bit that I played of it, but at least the writing is not my cup of tea for a game. I definitely would not drop $70 for this. It might be one of those games that I'll pick up for $10 a few years down the road and maybe sit around and play through a little bit. I don't know if I'd ever finish it. I mean, realistically, I have so many games that I haven't actually sat through and played to their entirety. I'm glad that they have this demo though, so that I can know for sure that I will probably never play this. But it is one of those things where if you're on an APU system, I would recommend maybe stay away from it. I would be curious how the RDNA based iGPUs actually perform in this game, but in general, having to use FSR and ultra performance pretty much guaranteed that this was going to be an absolute disaster visually, especially for a game that has a lot of particle effects, that those tend to be what makes FSR look the worst. So I would say just completely avoid this one, especially because we had to pump a full 30 watts into this just to even get it to be anywhere near a reasonable FPS. And even then, we're not exactly there, as you can tell by those 1% lows. So this is a complete bust, but I want to thank you for watching. If you're interested in supporting the channel, you can of course become a member for as little as $1 a month. It is greatly appreciated, but I will catch you in the next one.